Okay, I had to start all over again, folks. I was having some technical difficulties. Let me give a moment, seeing if anyone joins. Um, yeah, that's what happens when you unplug the mic. So anyway, thank you for the folks that let me know that you couldn't hear me. But if you can hear me now, oh, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Yay, I can hear you. Thank you. Someone can hear me. Jerlene, and what y'all heard, I was like wishing everybody like happy mama day. I was talking about how I'm a mama and it's Sunday and I got something to say. But anyway, I'm here. I'm live. All politics are local. Mama with a voice is Jerlene, live from Long Beach. Wanted to pop in for about 30 minutes. My goal is 30 minutes. I did very important conversation in politics, state politics, local politics. We have an election that is coming up, and this week, I believe tomorrow, people will start receiving mail-in ballots. So I wanted to go live for a moment. I think people have actually started to receive their mail-in ballots, their absentee mail-in ballots. So I wanted to pick up the conversation from my last episode on campaign politics. So anyway, if you watch me now, you watch me later. If you're joining me now, thank you so much. If you're joining me after I go live, please put hashtag replay to let me know that you've been here. Again, it's Jerlene. All politics are local. Talk of the town, to talk about some local politricks that are going on in our city. All right, so I'm all set up. I can be heard now. Anyway, I had wanted to start out with something all cool and messed up. I hope folks had a beautiful, wonderful Mother's Day for folks that were celebrating and recognizing or paying tribute to their mothers or mother figures. I hope that people had a wonderful day today. I had a great day and pretty hyped up still on that energy, and wanted to put some of that energy into going live. So I'm here and I'm going to get started right away. Let's see. All right. So how are we? Let's see. Last conversation, I was talking about campaign finances and the campaign finances. And I also had showed a booklet, a voter guide. The voter guide I showed was not the voter guide that I had meant to show. So I'm going to show that right now. Many folks should have received this in the mail. So it's an official sample ballot. Got a little light on here. This official sample ballot it's just that. It's a sample ballot. And for people who will be voting by mail, or even if you're going to a poll, the information or the folks that you're going to be voting on is going to be in this ballot, right? So folks should have received that, or if you didn't have not checked your mail, check your mail. So I had mentioned this in the last time I went live, and in something that I had noticed specifically around our local elections here in the city, how many candidates that did not pay for Spanish translated translated statements within the ballot. And it was really interesting, especially when we live in a city where language access has been a conversation. It's a conversation in our city government. It's a conversation in our school district. And so it was very interesting to see that I believe only two local candidates in our city actually paid for Spanish translation. And we have multiple languages more than Spanish, but I know it's over 40% Spanish speaking here in Long Beach. It's maybe over 45%. But we also have Khmer speakers, and then we have Tagalog, although I believe most of our Tagalog speakers are also English speakers. So it's really interesting who did not do that. And I think that should be paid attention to. So again, check your box, see if you have your ballot. and take a look at it. I'm not going to go through this evening, but I am going to pop in later this week to talk about this. And also take note of who does not have a statement in here. I am going to try to get a hold of as many statements from candidates as I can and post those statements, even if that means I have to grab them from their websites or such, so that you could see who these candidates are on paper. All right. So one thing that I was talking about in the last well, I just wanted to share this real quick. So I'm gonna pull this up. Let's see, add to stream. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. So I wanted to kind of start with this because it's been really interesting. Listen to the different conversations that are going around on politics, and it's funny that some people are just very rigid in their beliefs, and don't want to hear or learn about other candidates. So I hope that folks that are listening, that you have a mind that is not blind, and that you're open to receive information that I'm sharing, or even just different candidates are sharing. So yesterday I attended a mayoral candidates forum hosted by the Arts Council of Long Beach and the League of Women Voters, and it was hosted at MOLA, Museum of Latin American Art. Pretty good turnout. One thing that I encourage people, if there's opportunities between now and June 7th, before you fill out that ballot and put it in the mail, take the time to go and listen to the candidates. The one thing that's important for me is, are they consistent? Is their message consistent no matter what the audience is? The questions, the video for that forum is online. I have shared, I think, a link to it. I will share it again. Sit down and watch it. And one thing that was really interesting, I had my camera with me. I was taking pictures of the candidates. And the one thing that I found very interesting was the body language of the candidates. And even one of the candidates was like this, was like nodding off. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's gonna be like that on the job. So anyway, take the time to listen. Are they consistent? How do they answer the questions? I'm like, and one thing that has been happening, I've been to multiple forums, or I've watched multiple candidate forums. We have folks that are not even answering the question. They're not answering the questions. So when you're listening to the candidates, are they answering the questions? So there is an opportunity tomorrow. There's going to be a candidates forum that's being hosted by Leadership Long Beach. I believe Leadership Long Beach is one of the hosts, and it's taking place at the Aquarium of the Pacific. I believe it's shared on my page. I can find it somewhere else. So you could type in Leadership Long Beach on Facebook or social media, and you should be able to find the information. That does require you to RSVP in order to attend. It's free parking, free access to the venue, which is, like I said, the Aquarium at the Pacific. And I believe that I know it's going to be the mayoral candidates there, as well as some of the other candidates that are going to have an opportunity to speak. If you can get there, get there. If you can get there, get there. I think it's great that we have an opportunity, and we live in a society, in a country where we can actually connect with the candidates. You can actually walk up to somebody and ask a question. So again, one thing that I had started talking about was campaign finances. Oh wait, I wanted to go over a couple things. Let's see if I can find this. I wanted to share some information. And so there's some terms that I've used, or that you'll hear throughout this entire thing. One, nonpartisan. So our local races and our city government, they're nonpartisan. That means that they are not a party is not required, meaning to run for office is not required for you to be to list yourself as a Democrat or Republican or independent or whatever the other parties that are out there. It's nonpartisan. And one thing that I shared in previous conversation is how I feel about our party politics in our local elections. So just remember, these are nonpartisan. And it's interesting, as I go through social media and I read the different things that people are writing, they're like, well, are they Republican or are they Democrat? Well, you know what? Whether council members, school board members, mayor candidates, auditor, prosecutor, they are required to represent us all, regardless of what party we have assigned ourselves to. They're required to represent us all. So please, I ask people to don't get caught up in the party politic conversation. Although pay attention to where the parties are putting their money. So that is a conversation. This conversation on finances is going to last for a moment, right? But for tonight, I'm going to try to keep it short. The last time we were talking, I really did. I got overwhelmed. I was sharing the financials I just briefly shared the financials or showed the financials for three candidates. Sims, Richardson, and Price. And when I started going through the financials, I had because I got a little frustrated with what I was seeing. And if you go to the previous video, I marked it where you can go and see the financials yourself. But I also created a shared folder where anyone can go and check out these finances. Yet one thing that I want to do is make sure that people know how to access this themselves. So as I shared, I'm gonna go ahead and share this again. Okay, hopefully folks can see this. Again, it's in the last time, get out your notebook, take some notes. So all candidates are required to record and all of their finances. They're required to have a treasurer that's responsible for this. And one way that you can access these finances is from our city's website is go to the clerk's website. It's a campaign finance portal, and you can pull up and look up any of these candidate finances. So I shared this in the I'm gonna share this one instead. Okay, I shared this last time, but again, I want to show this to people because I want people to be able to access and know how to get them this information for themselves. I had stated in the last one that this is boring. The reality, no, this isn't. Not all conversations are going to be entertaining and fun. If you want to be informed, you got to be able to wade through the information. You got to be able to take the time to look up some of this stuff. I know people don't have time to do this or they don't want to do this. So like I said, I'm doing like a little tutorial basically to let people know how to be able to do this themselves. So right now I'm on the city's website. I am showing a page that shows you how to access financials. I believe right now I have up, I just went back to the search engine. You can put in a candidate's name. Once you put in a candidate's name, and I believe I had, let's see, I put in Miles. So Miles is the last name of Dan Miles, the candidate running for city auditor. And I just wanted to show you. So earlier this week, there was and so I don't know if everyone's able to see this. It's a little delay. Dan Miles, Auditor 2022. Okay. This is from the city's website, City of Long Beach's website. It shows a listing of all the forms that have been filed for this candidate. So earlier this week, an article came out and it basically said that the three of the candidates had some mismanagement or misreporting or had violated campaign finance guidelines, rules, and that they were being fined. So Dan Miles happened to be one of those. So anyway, I'm showing you what it looks like. I'm going to show you this article as well. So if you see here, the very top one says amendment. So this amendment was made after an error was made, and I believe it was a clerical error per the article that I read. But I wanted to show folks just how easy it is to get information. So it was really interesting. I actually had downloaded Miles's one of his reports because I had wanted to show something in but I didn't get to it. But I'm going to get to it right now. Let's see. Pull this up. This may be a little challenging for some folks to see. So in this particular report here, it shows that this candidate, Dan Miles, made a loan. I believe this one is a loan. No, this was actually a contribution to themselves. Candidates can do that. And I'm showing this to you because I actually found this very interesting, that there were multiple candidates had actually made these financial contributions to themselves. Well, what's interesting, a news article came out, said that they were in violation. And so I'm also going to show another article that came out. So one article came out and said they were in violation. And then another article that I believe came out today, was published today, that basically said that, reads right here, city attorneys hired guns, engineered political hit on 4 city hall challenger. This was ran by the Beachcomber today. This was in response to an article that came out several days ago about several candidates. So I share this for multiple reasons. One, this is just part of the process. I want folks to be educated and how to be able to find information, but also be aware and pay attention to what's going on right now. We, within a few days, folks or some folks already have to start receiving their ballots to vote. So as we get closer to June 7th, we're going to hear and see more information about these candidates. And it's going to be so important that as you begin to make your decision on a candidate, that you wade through the stuff and take the time to see, is this, as let's go back to right here, it says political hit. Is this a political hit? Is it real? When I saw the article, and I think it was published in the Long Beach Post. If anybody's watching me, please drop it. Here it is. Actually, Lee did drop it. I'm going to go ahead and show Lee Charlie, who happens to be a candidate running for the 1st District Council office. He shares where this Long Beach Post ran an article. So Long Beach Post ran an article, basically said that these candidates were in violation. Another medium came out and said it was a political hit piece. Take the time and read these different things. So in this particular article, it gives the candidates an opportunity to basically address what happened. So the candidates were Shipsky, who's running for city attorney, Miles, who's running for city auditor, Liddy, who is running for the city prosecutor. Now, all of these individuals, well, not all of them, 2 of them are running against incumbents. Wait, Liddy. 2 of them are running against incumbents. And what is an incumbent? An incumbent is someone who is, and I'm reading this, an incumbent is currently holding an office. So when you hear the term incumbent, that means someone who's currently running the office. So 2 of these individuals are running against an incumbent. One of them is running against what a person who's been called hand selected for the position, right? That's running. So the first thing I thought when I saw the hit piece that came out was, they must be making an impact. They must be making an impact that is causing the establishment, what some people call the machine, what some people call the establishment, what some people call the status quo, to have to respond to try to suppress their viability in the race. So when you see these different things, take the time and ask questions. So kind of going back to, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Take the time, read the articles, read the article that said there was a violation, read the article that says it was a political hit piece. Take the time to actually think about it. And if you get an opportunity to meet these candidates, ask them about it. Or you can go to the source of the information. So both of these are the article was about campaign finances. So something else that I pulled up. So let's see if I can pull this up as well. Let's see. Let's see if I'm able to. It's going to let me pull this up. Nope, it's not going to let me pull it up. Let's do it here. One thing, and all, again, talking about public information, all of this information is like, what does the government say, or what are the rules and guidelines for these different candidates? So if you go to the city's website, to the city clerk's page, you can look and see for yourself what the guidelines are. They're there. It's a handbook, and okay, I'm trying to find the right tab so that I can show you all. But there's a handbook that is there that you can take a look at it yourself. You don't have to necessarily believe everything that has been presented to you. Oh, here we go. All right. So what I have pulled up right now, this is the handbook that is on the City of Long Beach's website. I actually downloaded it. It's 118 pages. So, and I shared this before, for some of the candidates, they don't have a full campaign team, right? So they don't have a full campaign team. They may not even have a campaign team that is seasoned in campaigning. So there may be some error just because it's 118 pages of a document that they have to be literate in. But one thing about it, and I was interested when I saw the article that talked about in the article, it basically said that, let me read this out the article. It said that one of the candidate had made a loan to themselves. They had made a loan and a donation, but it was not recorded properly. So according to the campaign book, they're only allowed to loan themselves so much money. So I'm just going to go, so campaign funding and disclosure. And again, I'm showing you how easy it is to find this information. Now, is it understandable? No. For some of it, no. So, but if you're wondering how money is being used, so here it goes. Well, this is about matching funds. Here it is. A candidate for city attorney. Oh, actually, let's see. That's not the right one. Oh, wait, it is here. Basically, it says that they are not allowed to give, they're only allowed to give so much money to themselves, and they're only allowed to loan themselves so much money. So this information, again, it is in this lovely 118 pages. So again, when you see the information, when you see these articles come out, take the time. What do the guidelines say, and what is the reality that this person is actually in? Did this person actually violate something, or is this a political hit piece? Like I said, when you read the one article, it talks about how it's a clerical error. So I just wanted to share that. As we're getting closer to the election, you're going to see more of this. And then some other things. Someone sent this to me. Let me just get back to it. This was about someone from mayoral candidate Price sent me a picture of this, or someone received this in the mail, and this was a piece that went out that was for one candidate and against another candidate. And the question it was sent to me, and they were asking, who are the women of Long Beach? Good question. That's an excellent question. Okay. When you receive different things in the mail, who are these people that are making these claims? Do they represent the constituency? Do they represent you? What do they stand for? So again, as you start receiving these different mailers, whether it's independent expenditure or it's coming out of the candidate's camp, take the time and look at it and read. This is really important. And unfortunately, and this is just my opinion, what I've observed in our local politics is very reflective of what we've seen in our national politics, right? We ended up with someone in the White House that was probably not qualified for the job, right? But they had, I won't even say they had to give a gab, right? People just at one time just really wanted something different. We all want something different, right? We all want something great and better for our city, yet we still have to make decisions when we go in that ballot box. They're going to be the best for the city. So I see folks over here making comments. we got well, okay. Well, I see someone made a comment. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up regarding what I was showing just a few moments ago. They should know the rules. Didn't pretty scary since they're attorneys. If it was a clerical error, it was a clerical error. That's what I read. It was a clerical error. And I think it's very important and valid that we don't jump to any type of conclusion about what someone does, because I've witnessed some stuff in some of these in somebody's campaign that they ain't even recording information. So again, we have to pay attention to the information that is out there. Okay, so the last time I went live, I had shared that there was a independent expenditure ad for mayoral candidate Richardson. I another ad popped up. This ad is for mayoral candidate Price. Now, I shared this before. I don't believe that social media is going to win this race, right? What's going to win anybody's race, mayor, council, Congress, assembly, is going to be them connecting with the voter. Social media is only going to get so far, because even as I looked at the different social media accounts of all these different candidates, some of them barely have 200 followers. So really, how many people can 200 followers meet? And I've gotten some crap for my commentary. My followers are under 2,000. Now, I may be able to persuade or influence some folks, but even my voice is not going to go as far as a candidate actually being out in the community, knocking on people's doors. The candidate. So, with that, when people are coming to your doors, and I talked to a lady yesterday at the forum, and she said that someone came to her door, knocked on her door, and was encouraging her to support a particular candidate. And she was very impressed by what they information they had to share. And she said, and so she said to the person that knocked on her door, thank you so much for volunteering and getting out and informing people about this candidate. And she said that the walker or the knocker told her, oh, I'm not volunteering. I get paid to do this. so so be mindful of that. Are these paid people with a script? Most of them are script. I didn't show you the finances. If I'm gonna go to about 35 minutes. The amount of money that labor is putting and labor unions are putting into various candidates, where they are paying for their field workers. So field workers, the people that are out there walking and knocking on doors. So also that matters. Are these people that are knocking on doors, they live in our community? Do they know anything about our community? Or they've been paid and they're coming from some other city, knocking on a door with the script telling you who to vote for? Now, one thing you can do when that happens, there should be a way that you can directly connect back to that campaign. Do it. You have questions? Do it. Ask and see if they're responsive. Now, I worked for a candidate couple campaigns back or whatever, and she said I froze. Okay, hopefully I'm back online or whatever. And I worked for a candidate couple campaigns back. And what was interesting, this candidate, when the walkers came back and they had notes, this candidate stopped what they were doing. And if they had a phone number, they actually called that person. And if there was a specific request from that voter, and that voter and the candidate actually went back to that person's house to have a conversation. Now, that's not possible with every candidate, right? Yet, are these candidates willing to even pick up the phone and respond back to a voter? It's especially when we think about our local elections and the city council representation, or even the school board representation. Those are individuals that we should be able to touch. We should be able to have a conversation with them as constituents. And so, are they mimicking that behavior right now when they're running? Okay, so I know I'm kind of going all over the place. Oh, so what I was about to share was the was talking about the paid ads, and that this is gonna, is it going to be one on social media. So I came across another ad, and this ad is a paid ad for Price, mayoral candidate Price. And let's see. So, and I had shared in the last time I had shared how the firefighters were paying for a Facebook ad for Richardson, and I was actually able to show you how much money they had paid and how many impressions that it had made. Now, this was an ad that popped up on my feed for Price. Well, what I did, Neighbors for a Better Long Beach. Who is that? That was my question. Who is that? I don't know who that is. So what I did, what I did is I actually put it in my Facebook. I typed it in, and what I did, I ended up with a page. I ended up with a whole page, and this is what I got. So it shows that this ad is paid for by another organization. It means it's not paid for by the candidate. As I had shared in a different shared before, when you see images and commentary about these different candidates, these organizations that are independently supporting candidates, they're able to go online, grab the pictures they want, grab what information they want, and create their own. It's not always something that the candidate has information about. So anyway, this ends up coming up. So it is just a landing page. There's nothing else here. This is just a landing page. So this is what comes up when I went to that particular ad. Let me pull it back up again. Up now I'm showing myself. Am I showing myself? Oh, I just came out of it. Let's try that again. This is the ad. So again, so there's ways to find out who's paying for what. Where is it coming from? It's just a click. That's all it is. It's just a click. Just click on it and you can learn a little bit about information, but ask, who is it? Who's supporting this person? Is this somebody that I'm in alignment with? Is this an organization or a group that is representative of me? And then, for example, the information that's on here and right here, it says ad paid for by Neighbors for a Better Long Beach, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate. So the one thing that I did discover when I clicked on that, it took me to a Facebook page. And on this Facebook page, it shows other endorsements that this candidate has received. So again, click, just click. Okay, let's see. Oh, so again, so finances. So for example, the ad that I just showed, somewhere it has to show that someone paid for that. So I did not look up to see if there was an actual committee by that name. I didn't look that up. Yet it's possible to look it up. So there's a couple places that we can look up information. You can look it up on the California here, and actually I will, you can look it up on the California Secretary of State website. You can look it up on the City of Long Beach clerk page. Here, and I'm going to, let's see, who can I put in here? I'm actually pulling up a page right now. I just want to make sure it comes up. It didn't come up a little bit early. The Secretary of State page. Here, actually. And this is something I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this right now because this actually deserves a greater conversation. And I am already running over time. But I did want to share this. So if you go to the Secretary of State page, you can type in, and what I did, this is Secretary of State. It's Cal Access Campaign Finance. There's different ways in which you can look up information. I'm a little bit of a nerd, folks. I've been looking up campaigns like this for probably like the last, I think, 15 years when I see different campaigns that are coming up. And what was interesting, even in preparing for this conversation, I looked up some past campaigns because I wanted to see where the money is coming from, because we always have to follow the money. So I actually did put in Richardson. And the reason why, this is a committee that I've been following for quite a long time, and it is the ballot measure committee in support of Yes on Us, Lift Up Long Beach. I'm not going to talk about this committee today. Yet, when we think about the different things that have taken place in our city from different political elects, looking at these other campaigns, it's very important, especially when we think about, because right now our mayor is running for Congress. We got to look at his campaign financials. Where's the money been coming from? Where's the money going to? There's been some political decisions in our city that there's been some money being passed around. You think the whole uh, community hospital issue, whatever you want to call it, follow the money. And people are like, Jerlene, what are you talking about? It's a rabbit hole. It's a deep rabbit hole. It's like gopher hole. It's like going to the center of the earth type of hole. And what happens, we get these really pretty glossy mailers in our mail. And that's where our thinking stops. We don't think beyond that, but there's so much more beyond that. So I'm actually gonna, let me see if I hit all my different points. If I did, let's see if I hit all my different points. Okay, I think I hit all my different points for tonight. I am going live right now, child. They just walked into my room. So that's my teenager. She should be bed. It's 11 and I need to take it down. So one last thing before I go. Again, I'm going to come back, more conversation about finances. Check your mailbox. Check your mailbox. Did you get this? Did you get this? Okay. Check your mailbox. Take the time, go through it, have conversations with your neighbors. I will be gathering some of the statements from folks that are not in here, because there's a lot of statements. Like, for example, for our mayoral candidates, there are only 2 statements in here for our mayoral candidates, only 2. All right. So I will be sharing some of their statements. If there's an opportunity, there is going to be an opportunity for First District Council to listen to those that are running for the First District Council. And I believe that's going to be next week. It's going to be happening at the Scottish Rite. I will post that information. I am going to be shameless on this. Up until redistricting, I lived in the First District. I have lived in the First District the last 2 decades, up until redistricting. And so I'm going to say that is a race that if you live in the First District, you need to be paying attention to. And like I said, this is gonna be shameless. My support goes toward Mariela Salgado. I'm actually kind of sad that I don't live in the First District anymore. I am actually sad that I don't live in the First District, so I cannot cast a vote for her. Yet, folks, got to pay attention. I'm going to talk about the finances from that race, because, matter of fact, when I first began having this conversation in 2019, the reason I started having these political conversations was because of the First District Council race. That was the race that inspired me to start having conversation about politics. Because of that race, I was a constituent in that district, and I was paying attention to what was going on. I was very disgusted about what was going on, and it's really interesting because I'm watching now, and a similar type of stuff is going on. So, First District Council race. If you live in the First District, if you are new to the First District and you were formerly in the Second District and you are now in the First District, make sure you are paying attention to the alignments that are being made in that race. Like I said, and I probably will spend just in that right. And not that I'm not, and I'm shameless in this, y'all. I know folks have been asking me, who am I supporting for like mayor and all these different candidates. Right now, I just want people to have the information. But On that first district council race, I got an opinion. And my opinion is Mariela Salgado for Long Beach City Council. And again, stay informed, folks. I do have one other thing that I want to share. Okay, let's see. You must think for yourself, or others will do your thinking for you. Henry David Thoreau actually happens to be one of my favorite authors. Yeah, a little strange. Yeah, a little strange, like Jerlene and Henry David Thoreau. Actually, if I could be a hermit living in the woods somewhere, I would be. But you must think for yourself, or others will do your thinking for you. Don't let other people do your thinking for you. Please don't. When you get those mailers, don't let that be your determining factor. Take the time, get the information, and right now, I mean, we really have to be willing to learn and grow. As my grandma would say, we're gonna go to a hell in a handbasket. So anyway, thank you, folks. Thank you for people who have been hanging with me. Thank you for people who have been giving me constructive criticism on ways to make this a better process. Again, this is like a big experiment for me, and it's I'm not trying to be Facebook famous. I just would like for people to be informed. And it's so important that we have a different perspective. We need a different perspective that is different from mainstream media, and a different perspective from the people that we think are leaders, those that may hold title or position. Those are not always necessarily the people that are leading the people. They just may happen to be the person that's in that privileged position with a title and such. So just be mindful, folks. And again, thank you, people. I will be reaching out to candidates. If any candidates are watching this, I will be reaching out to some candidates so that you guys can go live with me and share with people some of your thoughts. Thank you for the candidates that have taken the time to chat with me. I had an opportunity to talk to Josh Rodriguez, mayoral candidate, on Saturday. I also had an opportunity to talk to Deb Moser, also a mayoral candidate, on Saturday as well. And just listening and one thing that I realized, I've met with an assembly person, Terry. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember her name right now, but there's an assembly candidate that is running in the race. And the one thing that I could say about these candidates, they are people that just want change. They just want change. They believe that they are the person that can make that change. And I applaud folks that are bringing their genuine and authentic selves to the table for the purpose of the betterment of our community. Now, that's not the case for all the folks, in my opinion. That ain't the case for all the folks, but those that are, I applaud them. Thank you. Good night. And watch if again, Jerlene Tatum, Talk of the Town, all Politricks are local, live from Long Beach. Mama with a voice, I'm not afraid to use it. If you're watching this now, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching it later, hit please let me know you watch #replay. This is streaming in 3 places. It's streaming on my personal Facebook page, Jerlene Tatum. It's streaming on my my blog page, Jerlene Tatum, and it's also streaming on YouTube. So please, if you have time, go to my YouTube and subscribe. I'm trying to reach a certain level of number so that I can personalize the page. I have quite a few older viewers that do not do social media, that do not do Facebook. So please help me out. Go to YouTube, subscribe, and there's other things there other than political conversation. All right. Thank you, folks, and have a good night.